Alright, this is my last video. I keep saying that the last video was the last video, but this is where it's at. Um, I kept hitting a wall for, not a wall, but just information that didn't make sense. It just kept barraging me. I don't know how to explain it to people that don't know, but it's a literal sense, like literal, not like a hypothetical um, self-talk type thing. I mean, it is experiences, people coming up to you. It is stuff you can't explain, but it's very literal, and you have documentation. You've got other people there that can verify that this is not, you're not crazy, but they have no clue what's going on as well. So, but I made it to the point to where I need to get to, and then after this, I have to become very public with this, and that I've been explaining to people that a whole bunch of different stuff, and they're just having a hard time with it, with the information, and the fact that they can verify everything with other people. And that's what they're having issues with. They're like, this doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense. It makes sense, but they're like, this can't be there. This can't happen. Everything else in the entire world states that this is not real. All right. So basically, what it comes down to is most recently I looked up on channeling and the sixth sense and all this crazy stuff. And I have huge issues with anyone that says otherwise, is what it comes down to. I believe that they're getting information, but I don't believe that it is from where they say it is. And that's because I've experienced literal situations by multiple occasions and multiple people. It's not just a single event that is explaining otherwise. What I mean by very, very pertinent information. So I explained that there's a cipher in pi. In a previous video, I explained this, all how this breaks down. It does ID, this right there, Hi, God, and Chi. The 22nd letter in the Greek alphabet is Chi, and that's X. This is timeline. This is our understanding of time right there, and it goes through right now. And this is the communication between the individual ego and the all-powerful higher consciousness. Whether you believe in collective consciousness or an energy or aliens, whatever you may be, this is the breakdown of communication that happens on the higher level. I explained the levels over here with the cipher because this is 3.14159. Okay, this is one dimension of time, one dimension of the higher consciousness where the chi happens, and then we have the sixth sense right here where it's the combination of the two can communicate, and we have the sixth sense, but it's literally the information's coming from the fifth dimension, I guess you could call it, or the second level, whatever it may be. The connection then lies down in the golden ratio, and it explains what this other level is, this ego level and the communication of the higher power, I guess you can say. But it's very literal. It's not gobbledygook. It is gobbledygook if you look at it, but it breaks down very literally. So this is chi, chi, and then this is high, and there's the D in the middle of high. So the D is the higher consciousness, and it is centered in the middle of the word high, High. Okay, very literal. Okay, and that's D. Okay, and then we go on to the next steps of this. I didn't bring that over. I should have brought that over. Um, Anyways, it has ID and then HDH. That's our ID, or that's the code of which we understanding, and this is where self-talk happens. You're in your own head. It's inside of you. Okay, the D is inside of you. Now what they say next is BODE, BODE, and that's an ominous warning. You can look up the definition if you want a specific definition, but it says BODE HFH. I don't know what F is. And CDC, that is C squared is light speed, or C is light speed. So BODE, the separation, okay, And then this next part kind of gets convoluted, but it basically breaks down to 0 equals chi off, and then 1 equals chi baggage ego. These words could be mixed up right there. I don't understand this, but then the next part, it comes over here. So this is 057, and then it goes 628, 62, and then that's an actual sequence, and that says dead right there. And this is the sequence for ego, and this is the sequence for bio D or God 9. Okay, so I don't know what these sequences are, and I don't know if we can break that down, but it's very literal. It says, G, O, and then there's the D, and then there's the 9 in there. So, and then bio D, which is B, I, O. And I don't know where the D, oh, it's this other D. All right. That's where it is. It's pretty self-explanatory. And then you got this next sequence here, which is 720, 720, 41 chi. So it's basically 360. It's the under. It has to do with this diagram, which I'm going to eventually do a website if I make it there. But it's the 4 circles, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the connection between the two are the 69. So these two are connected, and these two are connected, and it's the 6 and the 9, and the communication that happens at one level. So so it's 4-1 chi, which is literal CHI. All right, and then this next section was giving me issues, and I didn't realize what the issue was until I hit either the 7, which was up here, is PHI 7, which is an M, and which is 103, or it could be 10-3. 10 plus 3 is 13, or this is 110. I don't know. I believe that this is what it's supposed to be. That's supposed to be 13. And then this comes out to be had I came, and then it breaks down the two sides. It's a direct communication between God and ego. So it's very literal. I try to explain this to people, and they want to argue, and I'm like, then just stand by my side for a little bit, and you can start seeing the real. I can explain it. It's all about pattern recognition, is what it comes down to. But right here, this is the 111th decimal point, and if you know what the Bible code is, it's code 111. Everything's literal, and if you didn't believe it, there is a Bible reference right here, and it's very literal. 7 characters in 3 columns. Genesis 3:7, they talk about hide fig, and this is they hid themselves with fig leaves. Okay, it's very little. The Bible code is there. That's not my journey, as far as I know. I'm just supposed to bring this information to life. So, or document it and then share it without payment, and I will be taken care of. It's kind of crazy, but coincidence after coincidence after coincidence, and just being taken care of, it's just insane. So I appreciate you listening, and good luck. I know I wasn't very confident in this. I just got the information and put this all together. This isn't... It is for you to decide what you believe. That's it. Okay? I'm not here to tell you one way or another. This is how I live life. Okay? This is a very direct understanding that it is very literal sense. And the experiences that I've had, I've got many, many experiences that will explain the literal explanation of the communication between the collective consciousness, the higher power, whatever you want to define it as, and myself. It between another materialistic human being, and the conversation happens from literal ideas that are deep into my head, and they're pulled out at specific moments when I had problems, and I'm like, how would they know the exact words to say? And it wasn't once, it wasn't twice, it just kept going over and over and over and over again. And every time that I had issues, it was, come on now, come on, get up to speed. So I'm just letting people know, don't believe in a lot of stuff that they're selling, okay? You know, it's a very literal sense, and you will go through your time if you're meant to go, if that makes sense. Okay? Appreciate your time and understanding, and good luck on your journey in life. So, once again, I'm going to back the Bible code. I talked about it before, but I'm literally putting my stamp of approval on it now. And just know that there's a master plan, and it's specifically laid out. You know, you can't deny it. And then people want to talk about, do I have a choice in the matter? Yeah, you got a choice. You always got a choice. But literally, the choices have already been defined out. So basically, live in the now and just see what comes. You know, that's what it comes down to. The hardest part is once you start breaking down this information, you start freaking out. You don't know how to define life because it's just really, really hard because you've never dealt with this before and no one knows the information. The people in the know are like, dude, it is what it is. You know, you can't really, you just got to be there. You got to be there, and they're just like, what do you think? What do you think? What are you thinking now? You okay? You okay? Okay. If you're not okay, we'll talk you through it. You know, it's just like, whoa. So it's a very literal sense. So a lot of people are going to characterize me as insane and what have you. But from this point forward, I'm kind of done with the insanity, and it's just done. I don't know how else to explain it. The insanity was just a cross communication of information, and I don't know how else to explain it. Everything, I can't go into the deep stuff. All right, we're going to keep it very light. It's very literal. Had I came, God, ego. Okay? Very simple. There's the code. There's the original pattern of your ID. This is the original. You know, it's saying, I would speak to you in one ear and out the other. Okay? That's what this is meant to do. All right? It'd be very literal information. So, I'm not sure who's supposed to receive this or what this actually means, but it is a step to the next step, if that makes sense. All right, I appreciate your time, and I'm sorry about the pauses and non-confidence, man. I mean, I know my journey. I know what I'm supposed to do, but trying to explain this to someone else and potentially this is supposed to be the first step of their journey, that is the hardest part because I want to be there for them, but I can't. You know, it's one of those things. The problem, I can't go into that crap too. I am going to say it is very crazy. It's hard to explain and then try to explain. I'm supposed to figure out the order of operations and how this works. I'm supposed to line them out for other people so that way they know when something happens that they know to keep calm and carry on, but register the information is important and just to house it. And you'll know, I mean, it's not like intuition. It is like intuition, but it's not like intuition. It's like someone coming up to you and say, remember this piece of information. Now, someone may be effing with you, which is fine, but the problem is they won't be allowed to F with you if it doesn't pertain to your journey. And it may be a test. I don't know. It's kind of hard. Everything's a double-edged sword, obviously. But you got to just accept it all and then weed through it. And it's kind of hard to do. And that's what this is all about. I can't go into that either. Let's stick with that. And I'm just going to leave you at that. Bible code, look into it. My problem is if they're trying to get money from you, that's a big... I understand they've got to make money, but if they truly were on the right path, they would not ask for money. You know what I'm saying? It kind of taints the entire idea. So, and I know people may attach to this real quick and want questions or answers. You know, I don't have them. You know, this is my step. This is supposed to publicize and get people to question everything is what it comes down to. This is just the first step of many. Things are all right. Everything's cool. You know, nothing major's happening right now. So just know that everything's going to be okay. We got some time to figure it out. I can't say any more. I know it seems like I know more, but I only know my journey. And it's kind of crazy because you're shown literally. Never mind, I can't go into that. The problem is I've got a lot of information that people are going to register as insane, and this stuff's not real. And I don't want it to connect it to this. This is very literal information. It is there. So, boom, figure it out. Figure it out. If it doesn't pertain to you, forget it. If it does pertain to you, figure it out. If this is a direct correlation and clicks in your mind, that this is the piece that you needed to keep stepping forward, congratulations. Otherwise, forget everything that I've said. If you can. So, peace be with you. Good luck on your journey. All we can wish for is harmony, man. If you want to look into a good guy that knows a lot of stuff, there's a guy. He says he's a hybrid alien, which it just really gets my goat. But he understands ego very well and psychology. He's very good at talking, and I'm not tearing into him. He's a good guy, and he's doing his job very well, and he's just guiding people in their life. But my biggest concern and issue is that he's saying that there's a blueprint level, and why hasn't he stated all this? Because this is definitely blueprint material. You know what I'm saying? This is literal information, and it all talks about everything. So I'm going to stop. That's just really burning my... And there's so many different people that keep preaching this, this separation. And it's very literal. I'm going to say this one last time. It's very literal. When the experience happens, you'll know, because it's just, whoa. You're like, is this real? The first thing you do is look at, you're like, whoa. It's kind of like driving by an accident. But the accident, there's not really an accident. It's that feeling of... what's going on here? I want to know what's going on. Who knows everything? But at the same time, as you delve into this, you're like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Stop. And you're like, well, you got to know this much, so so that way you can get to the next step. I know this seems all insane and people don't believe me, and that's fine. That's whatever. I know I'll be taken care of. So it's just crazy. Crazy. I'll talk to you later. Bye.